Hi and welcome to today's video. So last time we had a little bug over here. So we had a bug that was not allowing us to get back to our mappings, to our default mapping. So I realized that I had made a couple of mistakes and I went ahead and fixed them later. I think this one wasn't connected to the target, so I was quite surprised that it was not working. So when we go back now and test it, we'll see we can interact, press F, climb the ladder, and we're done. So everything's working fine and correctly. Yeah. So we again come to today's video. So let me just adjust my performance in my PC. And so in today's video, we've done a couple of things even for starters. So we've done a lot of stuff with object placement, with like placing events and cinematics. And I want us to do some story integration for today's video. So I want us to create a system that allows us to tell our story. So basically like a set of objectives, what we'd like to do, maybe when the plays at this particular location, play this audio or play this sound or maybe play this cinematic, or maybe we can set a goal for our character and allow him to maybe go and pick something, right? And to do that, we are going to have like a couple of stuff to set up at first. And on our test level, I'm going to delete all these blocks just because we don't need them anymore. I'm deleting these actors, I'm deleting our ladder, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I'll leave this at the moment. I can also delete our scene, we don't need it. And we are going to make sure that we go to our blueprints and create a component. So I'll go to blueprints, actors, or I'll go to blueprints and look for components. So we had this first component as our bag. So this is like our inventory. I want us to create another component and I'll name it, let me name it like objectives and quests. So I'm also going to attach this. So to create a component, right click, go to blueprint class, actor, not actor. So just let me delete that. Just for now, I'll go to blueprint class and I'll do actor component and I'll name it quest. And I'll open it up, pin it on top of our screen, make sure the tick is disabled. I always make sure my tick is disabled every time I create a new actor or character. It's good practice to make sure that all the ticks are disabled. So we'll go to our player and add our quest component to what we already have. So we have our bag, so I'm going to add our quest, right? So click add, then do a quest, and here we go, we have our quest ready. So in our quest, we are basically going to define objectives. So let's say maybe we have like a different category of quests. So we might have in general like 3 different types of like quests that are made up with several objectives. So let me say like a quest could have an objective where you need to go somewhere, or maybe you need to pick up something, or maybe you need to like kill an enemy, or maybe get to some place without being seen. So that's a more of like a design thing that you want to do. So in our quests, we can go ahead and create, let me just say, data about our quest, right? So I'll go to blueprints. We had a lot of stuff here, components, we had the quest. So I'm going to create another folder, and I'll just name it quests. Or we can name it quest systems, just for it to look cool. So I'll name it quest systems. Then in our quest system, I'm going to create another folder. I'm going to create another folder, and I'll name it data. And I'll create another blueprint. Let me say blueprint class, and I'll call it. No need for naming it. So I'll just go ahead and create the data. So the first thing I'll do is that I'll go to blueprints, then I'll create a list, and in this list I'm going to name it quest types. Save everything, open the quest types, and we have like we can now add the enumerators. So I'll go ahead and name this, like, let's say maybe it's a pickup quest. Name it pickup. We can add a description here if you want. I mean, it's not bad. So I'll say, sorry, this is not supposed to be a quest type. I'll just name it an objective type without, I'll name it an objective type. So this is a list that shows all the objectives that we can do. So you can add your own description right there, and I'll add another one, and I'll say this is for reach goal, and I'll add another one. Let me say kill/destroy. So I'll go ahead and try to open our quest, and in our quest I'll create an objective. So under the objectives, I'll create another structure. I'll name it, I'll just create an objective structure. So blueprints, and I'll create structure. I'll say objective, use struct. Yeah, open it up, and then I'll do a couple of stuff in here. So I'll go ahead and make a boolean, and I'll name it is complete. So it should be a boolean, and I'll make another one, and I'll name it type. Objective type, and then I'll do another one, and I'll say So for objective type, I'll change this to the list. So say objective types. So if it's skill, if it's getting to a certain goal at a location, also you could do like, the list could go on. You could do like a lot of variables. You could say maybe where is the objective happening, are we close to the goal, and stuff like that. But for now, I'll go with these two. And remember, we only want to create what's necessary. So whatever I won't be creating won't be necessary at the moment. Cool. So I'll go to our quest and create a variable. Basically, I want to get our objective structure inside our quest, and I'll name it objectives. Remember, we might have multiple objectives in a single quest. So I'll get my start objective and then make it to an array, right? So that when we add like multiple objectives, we could say, okay, this objective is complete, go to the next. So I'll say maybe maybe the first one is get to the goal, and the second one can be destroy or kill or maybe destroy or kill an enemy, and the last one would be coming back to where we are. But instead of that, we can say let's pick up something and go back to the player. So we can say reach, go back to like where you started the objective. So it can be a list of a lot of stuff, so depending on your design. So that's cool. And I want to add another field, and I'll name it description. So we want to have like a description for each objective. So I'll go ahead and create a variable, and I'll name it objective. Objective description. Variable type, I'll name it to text. Save that. When we go back to our quest, compile it, you'll see we have like different objective descriptions, right? So we also want to rearrange them and make sure that the descriptions comes first. So I'll go back to our structure, drag our description, pull it on top, bring our complete down, also compile and save, go back to our quest. We just crashed, and that's cool. So I'm going to restart it quickly. I think it crashed because I was trying to change something that I had opened, so it didn't have like the time to compile. But opening it up again will just make sure that everything is set. It's also unnecessary that it had to crash. So we have our level 2, go back to our recent level testing map. We have like 3 assets here that were open. I'll go ahead and open them again. And in our quest, once select the objectives, you'll see now they are in order. So we have our description, our type, and our completion status. Cool. So after that, what we'll do, we'll just go to our player. Remember, we had added the quest, and you can see the objectives are right here. So I'll go ahead and delete these. Go ahead and delete these two. Save, compile everything, and we also go back to our UI for just a moment. In a brief moment, we'll go back to our UI and set, like, describe to the player what's happening. Cool. So this is our UI. This was our UI. The heads-up display. This is our HUD, and I want to place these right at the top left of our screen, and I'll name it objective. Cool. So I'll name it objectives. We might have a lot of objectives in MonQuest, and one thing that we do is that I'll create like a list right here. So to get a list in Unreal, you just type list, and you'll see a list view. Add it on our overlay, but I want to control the size of the list, so I'll go ahead and I'll add a size box followed by a vertical box. So I'll do a size box, add it to our overlay, make sure it's on top. Yeah, overlay the width and overlay the height. Make sure our objectives, I'll add a vertical box. I'll add it inside our size box. Then in our vertical box, I'll add the objective text, and then I'll add the list so that it goes all the way downwards, right? So make sure size box is set. Just right there, I'll do 200, and bottom I can do like 700 or 400. Yeah, that's cool. So compile everything. List view requires a function. Yeah, so we get our warning in the list, but don't worry about that. So we have our text right there. Make sure it fills. Yeah, also make sure it's in the center. Save everything, and then the list. Under the list, or I might actually change these. I might actually change this from the list to, let's say, another empty vertical box. So I'll delete this because I want to have like control with the widget, and I'll say I'll call a vertical box to the vertical box. So make sure it fills. Remove everything, compile, save, and we are going to do like we're going to make another widget that represents our objectives. So I'll go ahead and say, let me first check something. So let me just check something real quick. Cool. So don't worry about that. I was just looking at how maybe I could strike through characters. Maybe I could underline characters in Unreal. That's not going to happen. So I'll do another folder. Let's say Quest. Open it up. Go to Blueprint, or rather user interface, and go to widget Blueprint. Use a widget and I'll name it Objective UI. Open it up, add a size box. Set this to desired. Override. Then I'll add Let me make it 200 by, I think that is pretty cool. And I'll add a text, not a text, but a horizontal box. Side, and then I'll add now a text. And inside the text, let me make it light first. Font, bold, I'll make it light. Italics. And after the text, I'm going to add a checkbox. Yeah. So make sure it's filled. So make sure the text is filled or auto. The center, or maybe the far end. Yeah. So compile everything, save this, and I'm going to, as opposed to like calling this when there is an objective, I'm going to create a scenario where we call our widgets, our objective system straight from the widget. So I'm not going to call it at begin play. I'm going to call it when we receive a quest. So I'll go to objective, I'll go to hard and create a custom event. And I'll say show quest data, and here I'll have an input that is the objective structure. I'll say the quest. The variable, I'll say quest pp. Save that. Sorry, I was not supposed to create that. I was supposed to create it here in the inputs. So I'll do that. I'll redo that again. Quest. Change this to quest, and then delete the other one. So on quest, we are going to get all the objectives, get objectives. And once we have this, get all of our objectives, we'll do a for each loop. And then make sure that that's connected, and we are only going to get the name of the quest and the status, right? So I'll break this. And depending on the description, we'll say create an widget, and then we are going to add it. Remember this, we did this before with the inventory, right? So the widget class would be the objective UI, and in our objective UI, I'm going to make these guys have like the variables, right? So I'll just say the name. I'll name it the name of the objective, set it to a variable, and this one I'll name it objective status. I may set it as a variable or not. In fact, I didn't want to set this as a variable. There's another way that we could do this fairly. I mean, just come and create variables, two variables. One's a boolean, and I'll say status completed. The other one, I'll name it text. So that's it. Name. and then make sure the eyes and exposed to spawn are checked. Compile. So when we go back to our text, we can easily bind that to the name. I'd go to objective status, unchecked, bind that to completed, right? So property widget for name, exposed to spawn. Let's change this to text first. Or string. Okay. The reason we're having this issue, just change everything to objective. So compile, go back, and under name, I'm going to change it to text. Sorry. Compile that. Go back to our, it's set. So set to name, and status is set to completed. Compile, save everything. Go back to our widget and refresh this node. So we'll have our name and our completed node right there, which is cool. So I'm just going to connect these two, and you can always hide unconnected pins, and then make sure that we grab our other objective list. So I'll rename this to objective list, and I'll set it up to be a variable. Go back, go to our objective list, and I'll say add child, and then everything is set. So one more thing that I do like, one good practice is that I'm always going to be clearing our list before adding the children, because sometimes we might our objective might update, so it will just add to the existing one. So I'll grab our objective list and clear the children and set up, compile, save everything. And when you go back to our map, you can see we have our little objectives over there. We can always call these like from the player. So I'll go ahead and go to our player and just create a simple quest. So just simple objectives. I'll say that my objective is to go to tall building, and I'll say it's a reach goal. So I'll say pick up computer parts. So compile and save everything. And we remember we had on our begin page when we created our HUD. So I'll go ahead and remove this delay here. We didn't need it at all. So once we update our health, we'll go ahead and update the UI with the quest. So I'll just grab the heads up display variable and set that to, and just call our custom function. So remember, our custom function is show quest data, and I'll do that. I'll say show quest data and hook that up in here, set the quest in here, and make sure you arrange them properly. Compile, save, and I'll go ahead and put like the delay here before we get delay, maybe for 3 seconds. Compile, save everything, and once we hit play, we'll have a 3 second, then we'll have our objectives showing up right there. Which, okay, so we need to go to the tall building, pick up computer parts, and that's pretty much it. So we've added an objective system for our game, but that's not like the end of doing our job. We'll have a bunch of other different stuff that we could do, including just defining our goal, how maybe a reach to location objective is set up, or maybe a pickup objective is set up. So I'll go ahead and reduce the fonts to these guys. I think they look quite big. I'll move to 15. 15 is a lot. I'll maybe do a 30, also a lot, or maybe 25. I'm okay with that. Compile, save everything. Let's check again. Yeah, I think that's fair. That's very much fair. That's very okay. So just make sure that this is aligned at the end. Yeah, and that's it. So we've known how to add objectives. So we are basically going to try and link these objectives to certain activities in the game. And that wraps up our video, and I'll see you in the next one.